Hi everybody, Anthony Salvo here. Welcome back to the channel. And I'm a violin teacher of over 30 years experience. And today I'm going to talk about how to set up your left hand and arm for ease and success. Okay, so we'll talk about four things basically in this video about establishing the correct lines in your left hand and arm, the proper finger placement on the fingerboard, and then the form of your hand so that you can play easily, and then finally thumb placement. So here we go. First of all, the lines of your arm. So there are a number of different lines, and mostly they need to be straight. So common problem is this. It's very easy. You've been doing this since childhood, grabbing stuff, right? So this is the first usual instinct to play the violin is to play it like this, yeah? So the first line is making sure that this plane is straight. So then we can actually utilize the fingers on the fingerboard like this. The second one is that this plane needs to be straight. You don't want to have it be angled like this. Yeah? And then the last one is that there needs to be a straight line from here, from your elbow to the second knuckle of your first finger, right? So like this. Now this is very important because in order to play your first finger well, it has to be like this. Usually a lot of times students will do this. And that works for a while, but when you want to play low one, you have nowhere to go. So if you start like this, then you can easily move your one back into a low one position just by moving your finger. And this is also very important that you move your finger. Unless you're going into half position, you move your finger for low one position rather than moving your whole hand. Because then your first position is going to go all out of whack and all the other fingers are going to go crazy. That's basically the first thing. Straight line, straight line, straight line, all the way to the elbow. Like that. And make sure your first finger is upright and slightly scrunched. Like that. The second thing we'll talk about is very, very important, is where exactly do you put your fingers on the string? So a mistake that folks make sometimes is they do this. They play it this. They play on the right side of the finger, like this. So the idea, in order to get real great action with your fingers, and all of the action is initiated from this bottom knuckle, not in the hand. Yeah? So the correct placement is on the thumb side of the finger, which is the left side, basically. If I press and I show you my second finger here, I don't know if it'll work. There's like a crease on that left side. So that sets you up for great practices like Schradig, Kreutzer later on, if you're really studying those technical books. The other important factor is that the fingers also need to be curved throughout, right? If you have any straightness, you basically block your muscle action. So by having curved fingers, you're able to really utilize the muscles in your arm. And so if you straighten it at all, it's not going to be very functional. And so curved, 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 and most importantly, curved. And that brings us to our next point. Arm and hand form. So when you are playing the violin, one aspect of it is that you have to bring your elbow under in order to be able to play on the left side of the string, like this. You need to be able to bring your elbow under so you can actually have a curve in your fingers as you play in different positions and also in different strings. Now, E string, generally, you're here. But as you move over to the A string and G string, that elbow comes under quite a lot in order to keep the proper form. So some players, you'll see this quite a lot. They really move their elbow like this, you know? So you just have to allow for that. The fourth finger will be a whole other topic, because that's usually the finger that is actually least strong. So there's a whole training regimen that you can go through using shradik around your fourth finger. And the last thing is, when you put your hand up to the violin, you have 3 points of contact. You have the inside of your first finger, the inside of the thumb here, and then whatever finger you're using. So actually you could have 6 points of contact, really, if you're using all 4 fingers. But those 3 points of contact are very essential in order to find good form. Where does your thumb go? You know, the idea is that you need a space between the thumb and the first finger down here to allow for movement, right? And the other thing is, you know, it provides a little bit of side pressure and underneath pressure so that your fingers, you're not totally relying on holding it with your chin, right? You have a balance here. And there are a lot of players that play with their thumb here, right? Depends on the size of your hand. If you need to keep your thumb down here while playing, the important thing is to find your knuckles are in line with your fingerboard, like that. Now for me, I realized, experimented a lot, and I found that my most comfortable position was actually your thumb being a little bit high. And for me, that worked out very nicely. What is not really great is, at period, no matter what, is having your thumb way back here by the tuning peg. That really creates tension in your hand and is just not thought well of at all in teaching circles. So, thumb forward, and you get to find what really works for you in terms of like up or below the fingerboard. Definitely not underneath like this. Yeah, has to be on the side. Okay, so those are like 4 things that really help, you know, things to keep in mind as you're setting up your hand, or if you're reestablishing your left hand position, which musicians do, you know, quite often during the course of their career. Again, if you have any questions, leave comments in the comment section below, and please subscribe to hear more of these videos. I'll be making many more, and I'll see you in the next video.